So you've got Aaron Rodgers who makes a joke or something, a slight little comment that he says, can't wait to play with Davante Adams again. And then you've got Breece Hall and Garrett Wilson welcoming the idea of playing with Davante Adams. You're seeing the stuff come out on the Receiver show on Netflix, which was from last year, but it's showing Davante Adams frustrated a year ago. You've got him admitting to Kay Adams as they were smearing it up on her podcast, talking about, Aaron Rodgers.
Gotta stop.
I'm just like breaking down like the chain of events here. The point is,
you don't want to explode on the walls.
Maybe that's who's at SeaWorld.
Ew.
The point is, why would they be talking publicly or open about it unless they felt like they had the green light to do it? And I just wonder if maybe Davante Adams, through some back channeling has been like, hey, dude, this ain't looking good here. Like, anybody want to come get me? Like, I'd like to get another payday to finish my career, and I just struggle with the idea of going into the season with what we have in Las Vegas.
Isn't that tampering, though? Like, that's the one thing that the NFL, picks and chooses when they want to be in uproar about tampering. Like, this is an example of players essentially speaking publicly about the desire to play with them, which as of right now is not possible. So I don't understand how they're allowed to do that. There's no, pushback as far as that being tampering.
I don't understand it, but it seems as though there's something developing. There seems as though there is some type of a plot, a plan, something that's taking place. And I just feel as though hearing Aaron Rodgers say, I can't wait, as calculated as he is, saying, I can't wait to play with him again. I just don't. What else do you need to know? How much longer is Aaron Rodgers going to play? And depending on what number you come up with, the amount of years, do you really think that those years are going to be spent in a different uniform than the one he's in right now? And if you don't come to the conclusion that he's going to go to the Raiders or play somewhere else where it could happen where Davante Adams goes there, then you have to assume what he's referencing by saying, I can't, wait to play with him again, means that Davante Adams is going to end up in New York. So my biggest question is, we can speculate all we want about if this is tampering or not. If that man ends up in New York, what happens? That's got to go down as tampering, right? It's got to come out that something was going on behind the scenes. But like I said, I don't know if I said this to you, Q, or someone else, but how do you monitor tampering when you have a relationship with somebody and you may be the godparent to one of their kids? You may be really, really close. Y'all may do family vacations together. Like, how do you manage tampering in certain situations?
Right.
I just don't know how you do it.
They have a hard time proving it, collusion. I mean, they have a hard time proving anything in the NFL in this regard when it comes down to what's happening behind the scenes and communication, to your point, whether it's collusion, whether it's tampering. It seems like, maybe with the exception of the Falcons, who most recently got popped, given the conversations around Kirk Cousins, it seems like that's always a difficult deal to prove when it comes down to it.
Yeah. You think Davante Adams gets traded before the season?
It's a good question. That over-under?
I said it at the trade deadline last week. I wonder if it's going to happen pretty quickly here, because it just seems like that's a lot of noise. Like, there's just a lot coming out about it.
I can't wait to play with him again. That just, that just sticks out. That sticks out.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's going to be 33. It says there's a potential out after this season for the Raiders. I don't know, man. I think maybe he sees the writing on the wall and is like, all right, well, get me somewhere to where, I'm not wasting the final years of my prime in Las Vegas if we're not going to be competing. Because everybody, like you talk to anybody that covers the Raiders, and they're all saying, like, well, yeah, I mean, this is their quarterback plan this season, but they'll be drafting a quarterback next year. Okay, well, that doesn't help. Like, it feels like you're putting Antonio Pierce in a tough spot. You know, Josh Jacobs talked about just the losing culture that was there. It just feels like everything Davante Adams signed up for is not there anymore. Like, and, you know, I just wonder how long
That's
lasts.
not leaving Coach Pierce out to dry. That's you trying to get through your career the best way that you possibly can. I mean, he's still – I don't know that he's a Hall of Famer. I know he was Hall of Fame trajectory. And if I can get a few more good years, get some good balls thrown my way and get some good stats, maybe that's the difference in him solidifying his career. So you can't be mad at somebody for wanting to have the best opportunity for them to have success, especially if it's possible, if it's doable, that the scenario can play out. I don't look at that as being an issue with Davante Adams. It's not like he's not being loyal. I mean, he's only been there, for 1 year? Yeah. It's only 1 year.
2 years.
2?
2 seasons.
This will be 2 seasons, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not 2 yet. It's only been 1 season that he's gone through, correct?
No, 2.
He's gone through 2?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Said good years.
I still don't look at it as he's a traitor or he's not loyal. I just look at it like I came here to play with my college teammate, and then he's not here anymore, you know?
If you trade away Davante Adams, you got to think Antonio Pierce is like looking around going, all right,
what are
I'm
you
going to get the benefit of the
me?
doubt, right?
Right. He should.
I'm going to get the benefit of the doubt in all this.
My whole thing
please
is,
give me patience sometimes to build this thing back up.
Right. If you were going to trade Davante Adams, use him to get the quarterback you're trying to get.
Yeah.
That's, to me, like that. If you're going to trade him now, that makes absolutely no sense to me. Because if he wanted to be traded now, then that means that he wanted to be potentially traded back then. And if you were basing it off of possibly, we're going to get this quarterback. It could be Penix. It could be Jayden Daniels. You know what? Davante Adams will be happy with that. But if you're going into the draft and you know you're not giving up the capital to be able to move up to get one of those 2 guys, then you should be preparing for the fact that, okay, well, if we're not going to get this quarterback, Davante Adams probably isn't going to want to be here under Aiden O'Connell or Gardner Minshew. So let's trade him, and let's see if we could get that quarterback, and we'll go from there. It just that seems to make more sense to me than after the fact you're going to trade him now. That doesn't make sense to me.
You were doing the draft show here with Jay Glazer, and I was listening to it on the radio, and I heard when the Falcons were going to take Michael Penix that later on one of the teams that really screwed was the Raiders, because that was the plan.
Yeah.
And I just wonder
if they didn't get Jayden Daniels, they were okay with Penix, is what I heard. That's the impression I was under.
And here we are. And they're going into this
They didn't
season.
get any of them.
Yeah.
They didn't get any of them, and now you have a player at the caliber and the level that Davante Adams is at, and he's looking at who it is that's going to throw him the ball, and that's got to be very concerning if you're Davante Adams.
I mean, he's saying publicly that Aaron Rodgers is in my ear, like wanting to play with me again. Kirk Cousins just said that him and Kyle. Yeah, well, you know what I mean.
Yeah, go ahead.
Kirk Cousins said, Kyle Pitts and I talked about, what number we wanted to wear, and they got popped, $300,000 or whatever it was, and they lost a draft pick. It seems so blatant that I wonder if something's on the brink of happening, which could be a fun little addition to this offseason.